Hi, I'm Rebecca Waters, and today we're going to talk about flirting, dating, and getting engaged. You may think I don't know much about that. Been there, done it. But actually, today I'm talking about not a guy girl relationship, but a relationship authors have with their readers. And it starts with a little flirtation. Think about, you're in a bookstore or you're in a library. Maybe you're on the internet, on Amazon, you're sort of scanning through and looking at the offerings. What is it that catches your eye? Let's put you in an airport. And let's say you're getting ready to get on the airplane. You want to have something to read. You go into one of those little shops, and across the room, you see a bookshelf that has all kinds of offerings on it. What catches your eye? It's the book cover. And that's what I call the flirtation stage. Now, a book cover can tell you what's inside the book. It may tell you the feel of the book. It may even appeal to something within you because of the colors or the font, anything like that. The book cover speaks volumes on your book. It causes you to stop, maybe even take a look. For example, if I hold this book up without any other information about the book, I know this book is Amish. If I'm a person who likes to read Amish, I may be interested in this book. If I hold this book up, I may or may not know Terry Blackstock, who is an incredible writer. But just by looking at the one word title, intervention, with the dark colors, the dark tells me that's something suspenseful, a little scary, and it is. But the gold and the yellow gives me hope that she'll bring it to a satisfying end, and there will indeed be intervention. I could tell a lot by the cover. This book someone loaned me. It's called Everything I Never Told You. Now, there is an image on it. You can see it right here. But the font, the title, takes up most of the page. And I have been told that the font was chosen to appeal to millennials. It probably does. I haven't read the book yet. I'll read it before I return it. When I received my very first contract for a book, I was so excited. It was called Breathing on Her Own. And eventually, when it got to that stage, my editor sent me a selection of book covers. The first one, wow, it was great. It was so beautiful. It had this autumn in the mountains and these two young people frolicking in the leaves they had just raked. It was fun. It had absolutely nothing to do with my book. I was so shocked. I thought I had this image of people reading my book before they gave me an image to put on the cover. It was not going to work. So when they finally sent me this image, it had a picture of a couple. The story's about a woman whose adult daughter is in a car accident, and it causes Molly, the main character, to re-examine her own life and what she really believes and thinks and hopes and dreams. She comes to a place of understanding, an epiphany of sorts, when she's in Tarpon Springs, Florida. And this really looks like Tarpon Springs. There's a place called Howard Park, and this is very reminiscent of Howard Park in Tarpon Springs. So I said yes to the cover. Then it came out, and I didn't know they were going to use white letters that sort of fade into the clouds. That was always something of a disappointment to me. I didn't know you wouldn't be able to read my name from afar, and I didn't know that it was going to be a matte finish. It was okay, don't get me wrong. It did well, it was my first book, I was thrilled, and I I think that it did quite well. I got a lot of sales and a lot of reviews. But when it came time that I was able to retrieve the rights to the story back from that publisher, I put it with a different publisher. And that publisher offered me this as the cover. Now, this is a beach scene again, but I think it's much bolder. It's on a glossy finish, looks a lot like the age of the people in the story. You can read my name. And these calves on this man, who look like my husband's, be still my heart. So I accepted this cover. I had a lot more thought about it this time because I was learning a lot more. And if I were in a bookstore and I saw, even though the content is the same in both of these books, I saw this cover or this cover, I would probably be drawn to this one. This one is saying, hey, come over, pick me up. This is a great book. This one's going, so that's what you want the flirting stage to do, to say, hey, I like you. You like me? Take a chance, take a look. And you're ready for the first date. Now, the first date happens. What do you do when you pick up a book? You look at the back. On Amazon, you read the blurb. That blurb is something short, sweet, engaging, gives a hint of what the story is about, but doesn't tell you the end. And you take a look at the second date with the author. This is where people will write things like, when she's not writing, she's walking her dogs on her New England farm or cooking Italian food in her kitchen, because you want to connect with your readers. Somebody says, oh, I have dogs. Oh, I love New England. Oh, I love Italian food. And they feel a connection with you as the writer. So you have a first date and a second date. Now, what do you do next when you're out looking at books? You open it up. And chances are you actually don't read those endorsements, even though those are great. You don't read the dedication. You turn to the first chapter and you start reading. And if it is engaging, if it hints at the problem, if you start to know the characters immediately, if it starts with action, you're probably going to buy the book. You're interested. It's an engaging book. This is your third date, and it's really an important life-changing date. It's why Amazon puts peek inside on their books when you can look in and you could read a chapter or two, because they know if they can get you interested, you'll likely buy the book. And when you buy the book, when someone picks up that book and buys it from you, well, that's as good as getting an engagement ring. Flirting, dating, getting engaged. And then if you deliver a satisfying end, a roller coaster ride to get there, a lot of interest, great characters that are believable, action that people can identify with, and lives that people can understand, you bring it to a satisfying end, and you are going to have a relationship that will last a lifetime. Flirting, dating, getting engaged. I hope that's helpful for all of you, whether it's your first book or your 15th in a series. It should be helpful to think about those items as you approach your writing. It's a piece that I lifted from my newest release, which is writing to publish. The first part of writing to publish is those 5 habits we have to develop as writers if we're going to sustain our craft. The second part is about designing a business plan for your writing. And the third part is about marketing yourself and your books. You don't have to buy the book. Great if you do. And if you do, please leave a review. But this part, flirting, dating, getting engaged, that's something I hope that you'll be able to hold on to, remember, and use. Happy writing.